Good evening, viewers. Let's straightaway analyze the impact which Venezuela crisis will have over India, or in other words, what are the India's stakes as the crisis unfolds. Seeing the geopolitical churn in the world for last 1 year, we all are very clear that in diplomacy there are no permanent friends or enemies, but what really matters are only the country's interests. First, let's be concerned about our Indian diaspora. As of now, there are only around 50 non-resident Indians, that is NRIs, and about 30% of Indian origin, that is PIOs, living in Venezuela. A total of roughly 80 Indian citizens or Indian origin residents, so to say, reside in Venezuela. All are mainly professionals and business people. Next, our concern would be oil. India is the third largest consumer in the world of crude oil and imports 88% of its oil needs from other countries of the world. But what is important for us to understand is that Indian refineries don't import crude from Venezuela as of now. Here I should give you a brief backdrop. The Reliance Industries of our country used to buy crude from Venezuela amounting to 16, that is 16 million tons per year, that is 3.2 lakhs barrels per day, till 5th August 2019, 2019, when USA imposed sanctions. Just to recap, 1 ton means 7.33 barrels. After roughly 4 years, that is on 18th October 2023, USA eased sanctions to petroleum sector for 6 months, that is till 18th April 2024. But subsequently, USA did not extend the sanctions relief beyond 18th April 2024, as Venezuela failed to comply with the USA's requirement of free and fair elections. However, just after 3 months, that is on 24th July 2024, Reliance again got the special sanctions waiver from USA and started importing crude once again, which lasted for another 8 months, that is till 30th April 2025, because India wanted to avoid the risk of secondary tariffs imposed by USA on all the countries buying oil from Venezuela. Well, now it has been 8 months that India has not imported any crude from Venezuela. Yes, what is important to note is that ONGC Videsh, it's a primary overseas oil company. It invested $1 billion in two oil fields of Venezuela, that is San Cristobal oil field and Carabobo 1 oil field. That amount, that is $1,000 million or $1 billion, will come back to us or get released now as USA has started controlling the oil operations in Venezuela and will be winding down the sanctions. Therefore, oil will also start flowing to India and, of course, to the rest of the world from Venezuela. We must note that Venezuela does have 20% of global oil reserve, but its refinery capacity is just 1%. It holds 20%, that makes it to 303 billion barrels, but it is all heavy crude. There is a difference between a heavy oil and a light oil. The next, the global reserve, the highest global reserve is with Saudi Arabia, that is the second highest. It is 267 billion barrels, closely followed by Iran, that comes third in the hierarchy with 208 billion barrels. USA is ninth in the world when it comes to reserve, global oil reserve, and it has 45 billion barrels. But it is just light oil or shale oil. However, The US Gulf Coast refineries, they are designed to process heavy crude like Venezuela's and not the light oil of which USA has plenty. Another thing we must understand is that USA has toppled regime in another country 8 times in the past, mostly without much success. We can recall all those instances. In 1953, it was in Iran when Mossadegh was removed and Shah of Iran was brought in. Again, the reason was oil. In 1954, it was in Guatemala when Jacobo was removed and as land reforms had hurt the United Fruit Company of USA. In 1961, it was in Cuba when target was Fidel Castro, though it failed miserably, pushing Cuba closer to USSR. It also resulted in Cuban Missile Crisis, which all of you know, and it further escalated the Cold War. In 1973, it was in Chile when Salvador was removed to prevent spread of socialism in Latin America, and Augusto was brought in. In 1989, it was in Panama when Norigo was removed due to drug trafficking and security of Panama Canal. Come closer, in 2001, it was in Afghanistan when target was Taliban after 9/11, but Taliban returned in 2021, as you all know, after 20 years. In 2003, it was in Iraq when Saddam Hussein was removed due to weapons of mass destruction, which were never found. It led to power vacuum. It led to rise of ISIS, making the region further unstable. In 2011, it was in Libya when Gaddafi was removed, leading to civil war and migrant crisis in Europe. So we should walk a diplomatic tightrope the way we have been doing during Russia-Ukraine war till now. Not to forget that Indo-US trade deal is just around the corner and in the closing critical stage. It would be sensible to adopt a cautious, wait and watch approach with measured restraint as the crisis unfolds in Venezuela. Of course, highlighting our respect for international norms only. Thank you, Jai Hind, and do subscribe to my channel to the point.